everybody! In today's video, I'm going to be showing you an over-the-top poinsettia design. So this one, you could definitely scale down the size of each of the leaves to make the thing entirely smaller if you wanted to. I kind of like the look of an exaggeratedly large flower on a nail. It isn't something that's practical to wear, but if you did want it to be a little bit more wearable, then you would definitely want to scale it down some. I love it. I also love the background color. It's a gorgeous cat eye. The whole thing just screams like elegant Christmas gala or something. I love it. I hope you guys like it as much as I do, and don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future videos as well. So I'm going to begin by taking a layer of black gel polish that I'll do behind my cat eye so that my cat eye is a little bit darker. Then I'm going to add my green cat eye on top, and then I'm going to go left, right, bottom, top with my magnet so that it's not a line, but it's more of like a green glow. Now on my nail form backing, that also is going to get some top coat too. I'm going to sculpt my leaves or petals. I'm going to do 3 of each color mix. So I've got 2 shades of red. I've got one that's super duper dark, which is what I'm beginning with. That's going to make my largest leaves. The next one, I'm going to do a bead that is mixed between the lighter color and the darker color. So we're going to do 3 of each time getting a little smaller, a little brighter, a little smaller. When your leaves are a little bit matte, where you can kind of manipulate them, but they're starting to hold their shape, bend them gently along their center line so that they have a slight crease. Now go ahead and do the next set. Don't bend them too much to where they end up being nearly folded in half. You just want them to have a little bit of that crease, and pinch one end of each one. So now for the second one, like I said, we have the 2-tone beads. It is hard to tell in this because there's so much reflection from the wet acrylic, but it does really have a nice like marbled effect between the 2 colors of red. So I've got, these are, like I said, we're getting smaller. They're dramatically smaller. Each layer is quite a bit smaller, not just slightly. So it's like 2/3 of the size going down. So now fold these ones. I feel like this acrylic was setting up a little quicker than what it normally does. So I'm going to not do all 3 at once, but do 2, then kind of, finish one of them, then go ahead and do the next one and work my way down that way for this particular color. It's funny. Sometimes you have a day in your house where your house is a little bit warmer. Maybe your heat's turned up a little bit extra and your acrylic is going to behave differently. So even if you have a rhythm that you always work with acrylic, be open to changing that upon a moment's notice. So now I'm going to start the next layer, the next row, which is just going to be the brighter shade of acrylic. And none of these are like super bright. They're all still kind of in a darker, really rich shade of acrylic. It's not like a really bright orangey red. It's still just a nice berry red. And I'm going to do my smallest leaves with that color. And they really are quite small. This particular one, it is harder to fold the smallest ones in half. So because of that, I'm going to use the help of another brush just to kind of help place that center line as I am creasing them. So I am going to do, again, just kind of one at a time. It's the more you sculpt something like this, the quicker you get your rhythm. But as you're sculpting them, even you might notice that different colors of acrylic are going to behave differently, and within different colors, different brands are definitely going to behave differently. So just if you are using multiple colors like this, be aware that they may not all do what you think they're going to do. I'm going to fold these smallest ones, and now after they're all cured, they're crunchy, they aren't going to move at all. Go ahead and start kind of arranging them, still working on your nail form backing. I'm going to begin with the darkest, largest ones, and I'm going to arrange them so that they are about 1/3 away from each other. So if you imagine them in a circle, you're going to be splitting your circle into thirds. And then attach their bottoms together with clear acrylic. Try to get them to stand on their crease. It can be a little difficult. They're going to want to probably flop to one side or the other, but if you can get them to be upright, do that, do your best. And then I'm going to grab my next row and I'm going to press them right along the bottom. So I'm going to be going in between all of these leaves, but I'm going to kind of inch them all to one side. I'm going to use little scissors to prop up this second row so that they're a little bit more upward tipped. And then same thing, I'm going to inch them towards one of them. So we got little gaps, which is what you want. Now I'm going to move my scissors because that first one that I put in is going to stay where I put it, and grab the next one. And so then that one is also, so if you're going like towards the same direction with all of them, and then have your little scissors holding those up. Now for your final row, you're going to try to fill in the gaps that you may have created or that you should have probably created. So you're going to now, instead of tucking the point of the petal or the leaf underneath, you're going to place them on top and fill in those gaps, at least to the best that you can. Of course, if you did want to add more rows, then you certainly could. And you could, keep going. Poinsettias there's different varieties and there's so many different color schemes. The classic red ones are always the ones that I think of when I'm thinking poinsettia. Then add in your last but not least little red leaf. If you love poinsettias, I do have a couple other poinsettia themed videos from past years, and I'll put those in the description box below. So if you'd like to see more poinsettia art, definitely check for that. On back to the nail, I'm going to just scuff the area where I'm going to attach the poinsettia, apply a little bit of clear acrylic to that area, and then carefully place this down. These are pretty strong, all things considered. They're not super thin. Each leaf isn't super thin, so they are stronger than some flowers, but just still be careful. I'm going to add a gold toned rhinestone to the center, and then I'm going to fill in around underneath with more clear acrylic just to add some more strength to where it's attached. With red acrylic paint, I'm going to be painting the very edges of my leaves. So I'm going to take the same shade of red to outline every edge. When you're outlining an edge like this, run your brush perpendicular to the edges. Don't try to go along the edges. If you have paint on your brush and you go perpendicular, just the high point, the very edge, is going to pick up the color, and you're going to get very nice little thin edging on all of them. So instead of trying to carefully line it up, it's much quicker this way, it's more accurate, and it just has a better, more even result. I'm going to apply some matte top coat over all of those little acrylic painted spots. And now I'm going to take some gel top coat on a palette, and I'm going to drop in some gold caviar beads, which clearly wasn't going quite as smoothly as I was hoping. They kept bouncing. But then I'm going to take a brush, not my favorite brush, use a bad brush, use a brush that's not really good anymore. And you're going to scoop up those gel top coat coated caviar beads and then arrange them around the center crystal or rhinestone on the nail. And then go ahead and cure that again. And that is all. That is the final product. It is really a quick project. It would make a beautiful hair clip. Hint, hint, look in the description box below. Otherwise, I absolutely love the way that this nail turned out. Like I said, it's very elegant. I hope you like it as much as I do. And don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future videos as well.